13, is that the one we're on? 13, God's will. God's will is that we bear much fruit and more fruit all of our lives as his disciples. So I have a list of a notebook. Actually, it's in my iPad. It used to be a notebook. Now it's a program in my iPad, and I have everybody in our church in that, and most of them I have their picture. And so what I do is I go through. Right now we've got, I think, 630 addresses, and an average of 3.1 people per address, and so there's pretty close to 2,000 individuals. And so I don't do the little kids, but the adults, I have everyone there with their picture, and I go through that. I try to go through that every week, and what I get to Philip's name, and I say, okay, let's see, what's he doing? Where's he at? What's going on? And I put a number under his name, 1 to 10. 1 means he's a wart. 10 means he's just about a half a step from heaven. And everybody in the whole list, I write a number. Now, I don't show that to anybody. Sometimes people hear I do that, and they go, what number am I? I say, oh, you're like 100. And so as I pray for people, wherever they are, I say, Lord, would you move them up to a 5? Would you move them up to a 6, wherever they are? And then would you give me wisdom, insight to know how to move them up a little bit more, a little bit more? And so I'm always wanting to increase the passion, increase the commitment. And so the question is, where are everybody? And so a better question for you is, where is your church in regards to the number of people that are functioning? And the proper working of each individual part causes the growth of the body for the building up of itself in love, in Ephesians 4. The proper working of every part causes the growth of the body. So my church, how? 1, the whole church is a wart? Or 10? Where are you? And then as a leader in your church, you want to move your church up more and more all the time. So you're always asking that question in the sense of where are we, what are we doing? Number 14, the fact is that we should bear more and more fruit as we get older because we should be getting wiser and more experienced. I have a sermon that I preach periodically. It's entitled, Now That I'm Retired. And the goal of the sermon is to convince retired people that now is the time. You probably, at this point in your life, have spent your life working, making money, raising kids, mowing your lawn, paying your... But now that you're retired, now you can start investing your life in the church and doing ministry, because you're kind of behind times. You haven't got a whole lot to show for your life if Jesus were to come back tomorrow. And you want to get more rewards than you presently have, so plug in, do something. So we have a whole bunch of retired people that are functioning 30, 40 hours a week in the church. And the cool thing is we don't pay them a dime. And they're quite wise. They know what they're doing. They've got a lot of skills, and they discover what their gift is, and they plug in. A lot of them, we even give them the title. Like we have the director, they give him the title Pastor of Missions, Jerry McIntosh. We don't pay him a dime. But he is in charge of our missions ministry, and it's a big ministry. It's a big ministry with lots involved in it, and he does it. We have a guy now, Tom Zilverberg, who is an old retired guy. He bicycles with me when I go on trips, and he's got a seniors ministry. So every Wednesday they have you'll see posters around town and banners everywhere, and he does some direct mailing, and he does door knocking, and he invites people to come to Seniors Friend Day. And they just play games together. And so over in the D.C. building on Wednesdays from 2 to 4, I think they're running about 50 now, seniors, and they're wanting to grow. A lot of them are people from the community. Don't come to church here, but we get them. So Tom does that whole thing. He does it all by himself in the sense of leadership. I don't tell him what to do. And then on Tuesday, he has seniors, and they do a Bible study, and they study the Bible. And he has 3 Bible studies in 3 rest homes, 3 different ones that he does. And so he does 3 different rest home Bible studies. He does a Bible study here on Tuesday and a Seniors Friends Day on Wednesday, and we don't pay him a dime. He's retired, and he's having the time of his life, investing his life in seniors doing that. Psalms 92:14 is his motto verse. They will still yield fruit in old age. They shall be full of sap. I asked him, I said, Tom, what's that sap stuff? He says, that's just energy, and very green. The guy that leads our men's ministry is retired. He puts a ton of time in it. We do a sportsman show coming up here in Albany, and it's a 3-day event, and thousands of people come to that event. It's just a full-blown thing. We'll have about 100 vendors, guys that are guides and boat salesmen and rod fishermen, and he and his staff, all volunteers, lead that, put that together, and lots of people come to it. 15, one reason that many don't bear much fruit is because they're weary and tired, discouraged. Life has used up their energy and their passion. So my dad used to say, and you just heard it semi-quoted, he said, if you're going to be a successful person, you got to manage mentally your body. Otherwise, your body will run you. And your body will say, go to bed. And your body will say, eat. And your body it'll get self-absorbed and selfish, and then you get less and less and less done. He said, it's all in how you talk to yourself. We get to the end of the day, we got up at 4, milk cows, put in 1,000 bales of hay by hand, and then milk cows again, and be in the house at 9 o'clock at night, and he would say, you tired? Man, I'm tired. Best feeling in the world. Best feeling in the world. Don't ever, ever think and feel sorry for yourself because you're tired. It means you did something. It means you did something. He said, now, if you talk to yourself like that, tiredness won't turn you into a wimp. But if you say, oh, man, I'm so tired, and you start feeling sorry for yourself, he said, you'll become a wimp, and you'll become useless. I heard that all the time growing up. Busy's good. He'd say, busy's good. It means you're doing something. If you manage your self-talk, you'll have tons of energy. But if you let your body communicate to you, you'll become a wimp. And you don't want to do that. So, tired's good. Busy's good. I have the Holy Spirit living in me. I have a supernatural energy. I can manage my life and set goals and push and want more and accomplish a great deal with my life. We've talked ourselves into, with our world kind of thing, is that, I'm tired. And life just makes us tired. And so we can manage that. It doesn't mean that you're not finite. It does mean you need to rest. It means you need to, but as a whole, we can get a lot done. Galatians 6:9 says, let us not lose heart in doing good. In due time we will reap if we do not grow weary. If we do not grow weary. That suggests that that's a choice. I have a choice. Am I going to grow weary or am I not? If we don't grow weary, then we will bear fruit. 2 Thessalonians 3:13, but as for you, brethren, do not grow weary. Do not grow weary. 1 Corinthians 15:58, therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your toil is not in vain in the Lord. Hebrews 12:1-3, therefore, since we have so great a cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us also lay aside every encumbrance, the sin which so easily entangles us. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author, perfecter of faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who has endured such hostility by sinners against himself, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. And so managing thinking and not growing weary. 16, toughness of spirit or grit is an attitude that must be developed if a person is going to bear much and more fruit for God. So that's one of my leadership class goals, is that every guy in the class would be tough, strong, and they would understand the power of self-talk, meditation on the Word of God, to maintain a positive attitude and a desire for more and more in their life, and the desire to do more, continually pressing on. Again, it's just the way we think, and so that's the goal of the class. Jeremiah 12:5, if you have run with footmen and they have tired you out, how then can you compete with horses? If you fall down in a land of peace, how will you do in a thicket of the Jordan? Here's one of my passages I use in my leadership class, 2 Samuel 23:9. After him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo. How would you like that name, huh? The Ahohite, one of the three mighty men with David when they defied the Philistines who were gathered there to battle, and the men of Israel had withdrawn. He arose and struck the Philistines until his hand was weary, clung to the sword, and the Lord brought about a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to strip the slain. And so that's a tough dude. And we'll take everything in there except the name. Number 17, a good training program can train, influence, encourage, and teach a wimp to be strong. So one of the mottos, and I think everybody in the church knows it, you don't have to act the way you feel. You don't have to act the way you feel. Most people do. You don't have to do that. You can act differently than your body tells you to act. And so I've said that over and over and over again. You don't have to act the way you feel. My kids all grew up with that. They heard it every day of their life. And my daughter, one of my daughters, was a volleyball coach in college, and Multnomah Bible College. And she said, Dad, I get a ton of pushback from that. What's that? I said, I tell the girls in the volleyball team, you don't have to act the way you feel. And what do they say? I said, well, they say that's being phony. I said, you tell them it's not being phony, it's being responsible. I said, give them this story. It's made up, but there's a doctor. He's the best in the world at a particular surgery that's taking a tumor out of your brain. Nobody does it better. He's 100% successful. And one of your girls has a dad who has a tumor in her brain. And the surgery is scheduled for Tuesday. Tuesday morning, the doctor gets out of bed, and he gets ready to go down the stairs, and he steps on his son's skateboard, falls all the way to the bottom of the stairs. Gets up and goes into the kitchen, and his wife has burned his breakfast. He goes out, and the neighbor's dog has pooped right in the middle of the yard. Gets ready to get in the car, and he's got 2 flat tires. He finally gets on the road, and somebody rear ends him. He walks into the hospital just a few minutes before the surgery is scheduled. So the question is, can he act differently than he feels? Can he do that surgery successfully, in spite of all that's happened? Sure he can. Why? Because he understands the consequences of it if he doesn't. And because he understands the seriousness, the responsibility of doing what he's supposed to do regardless of what's transpired the previous 2 hours in his life, because he can think that way in regards to responsible behavior as opposed to acting the way I feel. And so, again, people, generally speaking, kids, they cry when they're hungry. They fuss and they whine about this, that. That's what kids do. There comes a point where hopefully as a parent you've trained them, they don't do that anymore. And they don't act the way they feel. And a lot of adults in a lot of churches never have gotten to the point where they act responsibly as opposed to in response to the way they feel. And again, if you were to attend my leadership class, you'd hear me say that to the point of saying, okay, I got it. but it didn't make any difference. I'll say it some more. You don't have to act the way you feel. You can act responsibly. You can do what you're supposed to do. You can do what God expects you to do. Number 18, a major requirement to run the race with endurance is being faithful to the basic disciplines of the Christian life. So if we were to talk about my leadership class, what is the core stuff? This is foundation stuff. If you're going to endure, if you're going to be tough, if you're going to accomplish a bunch, if you're going to be able to rise above your feelings and do what's right, not act the way you feel, you got to have this one down. Basic disciplines of the Christian life. Now, I've identified 7. If you read different books, they'll have anywhere from 5 up to 21 disciplines. And so I've just got 7. There's only so many you can cover, and so I've gone Bible. Read the Bible every day. Read the Bible every day, every day, every day, every day. You don't have to read it every day. But if you read it every day, then it'll become a habit. Things become habit when you do them daily. Now, if you miss a day, you're going to be able to miss another day easier. Then you miss 2 days, third day is even easier. And so if you want it to be a habit, do it every day. Now, there's going to be times when you're going to miss, but not very many, because you've got that commitment, that goal to make it happen. Now, I'll get a bunch of pushback. I get a lot of pushback from pastors on this one. They'll say, I really want to read my Bible because I want to, not because I'm supposed to, or not because I'm being held accountable to do it. So that's cool. Are you not born that way, though, are you? Are you going to read the Bible because you want to? That's just the way you are? I don't know too many people that have been born that way. So, Psalms 1, his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He will be like a tree firmly planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in its season. His leaf does not wither. Whatever he does, he prospers. Whoa. Whatever he does, he prospers. Why? Because he delights in the law of the Lord, and day and night, day and night, day and night, he meditates on it. So how do you get there? Okay, it starts over here. And I say this little line over and over and over and over. It starts here. Dry as dirt duty. Your flesh doesn't want to do it. The devil doesn't want you to do it. You got so much to do, you don't find time to do it. So the only way to read your Bible every day is just to do it. Read dry as dirt duty. If you don't, your accountability group guys are going to harass you. Your pastor is going to harass you. Dry as dirt duty. It just starts there. Then you keep it up. It moves over here to habit. It becomes a habit. Then you keep it up daily, and it moves over to here. And this is the light. That's who you are. That's what you do. You can't not do it. You love reading the Bible. Going to bed without reading the Bible, you wouldn't hardly think of it. So nobody's born here. You don't get there just because you become a Christian. It takes some training. You train you with some help. And it always starts here. Nobody likes this. Nobody likes this. I don't know how many people have said, I don't want to do it because I'm supposed to. Why? That's a good motive as far as I can tell. You're supposed to. It's good for you. God wants you to do it, so do it. Get help, as much help as you need. Dry as dirt duty. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Habit. And then it's delight. And so what you want is a whole church full of people that are over here. They read the Bible every day. They're memorizing Bible verses on a regular basis. That's who they are. That's what they do. I gave you Psalms 1, 2 through 3, Hebrews 4:16. Therefore, let us draw near with confidence to the throne of grace so that we may receive mercy, find grace to help in time of need. Pray every day. Spend time with God. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Every day. Every day. Every day. Just have a date with God every day. Just 15 minutes. Use a prayer journal because you'll forget. Your mind will wander. You'll start praying, and pretty soon you're fishing. Just have something you can write, something you can read, 15 minutes every day. Every day. You come to the throne of grace with confidence so that you might find grace to help in time of need. A lot of people don't have a lot of strength because they don't pray on their own by themselves. Now, I get this a lot where somebody will say, I pray while I'm driving to work. That's cool. I pray while I'm washing the dishes. That's great too. You know, way back in the early days of pastoring, when I was doing everything and we had 8 kids, I didn't spend a lot of time talking with Patty. But she was always fussing at me. We need to talk. We need to talk. Yeah, I know. We'll do it. Finally, one day I says to her, I got this idea. I'll buy the Diet Pepsi, you get the popcorn, and we'll watch Monday Night Football, and we'll talk during the ads. Did she say, you are the most loving husband in the world? No, she kind of started crying. Women, who can understand them? Man, she wants to talk. I come up with a plan. She didn't like the plan. So, you love the Lord, and you're going to give him this time that's convenient. Oh, yeah, I'll pray while I drive to work. That's cool. You need to pray all the time. But is that all the time you're going to give to God? Just that which you're doing something else? You're driving, you're washing dishes, you're working in the garden, you're doing this, you're doing it. And at the same time, you're going to give God some time. It's not really focused time. It's not just you and him time. It's leftover, convenient, comfortable time that costs you nothing. And I believe he'll probably be as impressed with you as my wife was with me when I came up with that great plan. So, praying when you go to work is great, but if that's all, then that's the problem. You need to have a date with God, just you and God. 15 minutes a day. That's not much. Every day, every day, every day. And then you will receive strength. You'll have energy. You'll have power. But if you give God just leftover, convenient, comfortable time that costs you nothing, you're going to be a wimp. You're not going to do much with your life. God's not going to bless and honor you with that kind of devotion, commitment to him. So we teach that in the class every day, every day, every day. Have a place and a time. Have a place and a time. Or you give him 15 minutes and you got a notebook, and it's every day. Every day. You also need to have a commitment to a corporate prayer with your church family, where you're doing that on a regular basis. 19, I can teach a person the importance of Bible reading and reading, memory, and study. For those who come to this seminar and then go back to their churches and implement what I do, there's a couple of things that often happens. One of them is that for some reason they don't have a very high opinion of people in their church, and so they dumb it down. And so if you're in my class, you're going to memorize 2 verses minimum a week in the class that I give you, and then plus you have to maintain all the other verses. And so you get asked to quote the 1 and 2 for the week, and plus all the others that you've memorized through the whole class. And so you get through the class, you're going to have about, they're in, I think, your notebook, the ones I use, I think close to 50 verses. I don't know how many guys take this and they go back and they teach it, but no, my guys are all stupid. They can't do that. Bible memory, scripture memory, and meditation is incredibly important. You know how many guys will say to me, Pastor, I'm not going to join your leadership class. Why? Because I can't memorize. And I hear you have to memorize Bible verses. What's your name? And they will not catch what I'm going. And they'll tell me, well, you can memorize. You know your name. I bet you've never got lost going home from church. You know where you live. You can memorize. It's just hard. So are you a wimp? You don't attempt to do hard things? I do it. I'm 74 years old. My goal is to finish the year with 800 Bible verses down pat. I can do it. You can do it. I'm dumber than a fence post. And I remember my name, but only because my mom gave me a short name, D. If I had a name complicated to some of you, I'd forget. I'd have to write a note down and say, oh yeah, okay. I work at memorizing every day, 30 minutes, every day, 30 minutes. I go over and over and over my verses, and I meditate on them. I think about them through the course of the day. You can do that. So Bible memory is a big deal in the leadership class. Key verses, don't grow weary in well-doing. Memorize that verse, meditate on it. 20, I can also teach the importance of a disciplined prayer life. 21, I can teach them, those in my class, a whole lot of things about the basic disciplines of the Christian life and the importance of faithfully practicing them. I'm getting signaled at. So we're going to quit as soon as you write that down and go eat lunch. Let me pray right now so when you get in there to eat lunch, you can just start gobbling. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for this morning. I do pray for each person here that you will give them a vision about their own ministry and church and training and teaching, discipling people that would become individuals that would bear much fruit. I just pray that you will stir up, motivate, and guide each of these individuals. Bless our conversations together. Thank you for all that you've done for us. We love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.